And I'd like to welcome everybody to our Black and Blue Umpire Association monthly call for Monday night, September 8th. We just are trekking along. This year will be over before you know it. I can't even believe it. But, anyways, thank you all for taking the time tonight. We are nearing almost 75 participants, and I absolutely appreciate that. I think that's outstanding. October call, I'd love to see us get to 100. I think that would be great. We got a lot of wonderful things going on with BBUA, a lot of discussions to enhance what we're doing and how we're doing it, and just a lot of exciting times ahead with a lot more opportunities for everybody. So, Scotty, if you would, let's advance the deck and we'll get into my tidbits and hot topics, and then I'll turn it over to Harrison and the rest of you folks for the rest of the night. So, next slide, please. Should have some. Yes, there you go. Okay. So, couple updates. Northern California Travel Baseball, NCTB, has officially been sold to basically a sports conglomerate called Unrivaled Sports. They're based out of the East Coast. I believe it's the Baltimore, Maryland area. I believe that's where they're based out of. I would encourage everybody to go online and look up this very impressive group. It's led by two men who are in the sports industry. They own two NBA franchises. I believe they own an NHL franchise. Like I mentioned in our last call, they also own Cooperstown Village, and they also own Cal Ripken Baseball, which are two very, very big entities in the Southeast, in the Northeast, and they are making their way out west. And I will tell you that they're not necessarily going after your big U trips, your big perfect games. That's not what they're really doing. They're looking to go after regional concepts like NCTB that have maybe an affiliation with one of those said mentioned organizations. I don't know if everybody knew, but NCTB had kind of a relationship with Perfect Game. You would see Perfect Game tournaments being conducted at Twin Creeks and in Northern California. Primarily, the reason for that was to have a platform for a regional tournament company like NCTB to be able to do all their checks and balances on the team side of things when it came to registrations and rostering and validating birth dates and all those type of things. You've got to have a company like a Perfect Game, a company like U Trips, a company like NCS, and a company like Unrivaled to be able to expedite that functionality on the team side of things. So I'm still waiting to see what Unrivaled is connected with. I want to say that they're connected with oh gosh, it's right on. It's not Team Snap because that's not it. It's something else. League app. I'm pretty sure that they're connected with League app. So that's how coaches, coaching administrations, players will all kind of do their checks and balances on that league app. So it is official. Unrivaled has purchased NCTB, and that sale went through. It'll be two Thursdays this Thursday. Now, what does that mean for us? Quite frankly, nothing at the moment. It's going to be standard operating procedure moving forward. NCTB will still be NCTB. It will still be called Northern California Travel Baseball. It'll just be owned by the Unrivaled portfolio. Moving into 2026, I think it's going to stay NCTB. I don't think it's going to change. Will it at some point in time down the road? Maybe. I don't know. Hard to say. Do I think it will? Sure, maybe, possibly. Maybe not. Maybe NCTB has such a following and such a reputation that Unrivaled doesn't feel like they want to unmask that and take that away. So for right now, it's business as usual, and Some of the ownership group will stay on as consultants, and some will stay on as tournament directors. So a lot of familiar faces will still be kind of overseeing the day-to-day operations, including all of us, yours truly, with BBUA, and we're very excited for those opportunities. So next, like I mentioned in the call last month, BLD Manteca is definitely a go. The Unrivaled Sports Organization bought two of the big league dreams that are throughout the United States. So they bought Manteca and they also bought Las Vegas. So they will be conducting tournaments out of the Las Vegas facility as well. There's rumor that they potentially could be buying up some more, but it's yet to be seen. And there's a lot of speculation and rumor that there could be some other tournament directors that operate under a NCS, operate under a U-Trips, that they could be targeting, very much so. So I see that as a possibility, and so there's a lot more yet to come. But Big League Dreams Manteca won't officially start until January, and we have not been given a schedule for BLD as of yet. I'm certain that we'll probably see one coming up here fourth quarter at some point in time. And then once that all gets kind of worked out, we will obviously be sharing that with our membership, so everybody can start planning for 2026 and the weekends that you wish to work for us. So a lot of great things in the pipeline. A lot of interesting things. Lots of opportunities for umpires, not only with the sale of NCTB, but what we're doing here with BBUA and wanting to expand our portfolio and our reach and our geographical footprint. So we're excited about that, and we're looking forward to growing. And so there's a lot of things that BBUA is doing behind the scenes in regards to just the administration and the execution of what we do behind the scenes, whether that's through an assigning platform or a payroll platform. There's all kinds of things that we're looking into that maybe enhances what we do as an organization. So not too much else to report on that, just to give you guys some idea, just to hear it from us. So you're not having parking lot talk and speculation on any of that stuff. But BBUA, we're always thinking about what's going to make our product better, what's going to aid us in expediting what we do, what's going to help our officials in what we do, what's going to make them successful. So we're looking at teaming up with some organizations that might help us expedite some of the things that we do from an organizational standpoint. So more to come on that, but very exciting news with the sale. It's official. All the key people are in place. We had a very productive introduction virtual call this morning with the Unrivaled Sports payroll folks, the folks that handle the monies, and lots of really good dialogue around the expediting of tournament pay and how quickly we need it so we can stay on track and get you guys paid like we promised on our Thursdays. And we continue to work very hard and aggressively at making sure that we maintain that. I felt coming away from the meeting that the Unrivaled folks also felt that that was an important optic that they want to maintain and keep and even enhance and potentially get us funded even sooner, which would be tremendous. So very, very encouraged coming out of the meeting with the two representatives that we met with, and a lot of really good dialogue. And I think that they will find working with our great staff at BBUA here very, very expeditious and professional. I think that they're going to probably find that we're probably the best in the country very, very quickly. Not to take anything away from other groups, but other groups I don't feel are as big as ours. I don't feel are as organized as ours. I don't feel have the senior led leadership that we have and the team that we have. And I think that that's going to bode very well for us for continued opportunities, not only in the Western United States, but all over this great country. So I'm very excited about that stuff and very energized about that and feel very excited about it. So, anyways, that's all that I have to say about that. Lastly, for me on my bullet points, and I definitely don't want to steal the thunder away from Harrison because he wants to talk about it at length just a little bit more. But in regards to handling situations and some extracurricular things that we could be faced with, in the fall, in the summer and the fall, we tend to have more tournaments that have age groups that are older, right? We get into the 15, 16, 17, and 18U in the summer and in the fall. And obviously, we do not have that in the spring, and that's because high school baseball is going on. Um, what I mean by this is that we will probably see an uptick in ejections and potentially an uptick in on-field situations that are going to catapult us as officials to have to insert ourselves in the proper way and be the adjudicators of handling trouble situations or conflict management. And it's very important that as officials that we are the ones that are viewed as the de-escalators and not the escalators. We're viewed as the ones that are trying to put the fire out and get the calmer heads to prevail, and not the ones that are creating the conflict. And we have to be extremely careful, and we have to really insert ourselves in the right way and firm but fair and in a presence to where we are trying to bring the temperature down and not bring the temperature up. Over the weekend, we had a situation where there was some conflict management that had to be displayed. Some teams got after it a little bit. Unfortunately, a lot of these young men that watch and admire baseball via social media and see it at the major league level, see it at the collegiate level. There's a lot more that's being done in the high school space. Everything is about intimidation and in your face and the lack of sportsmanship and the lack of appreciating and respecting your opponent has decreased tremendously over the last several years, and it's all aided, in my opinion, by social media. I can't stand watching baseball players, and I'm just going to use baseball because that's what we do. Football and all that, whatever. You guys go do your own thing. But baseball's got a little importance to me because I've been doing it for so long, and I find it to be the best sport on the planet. But baseball has turned into such a individualistic sport. Even though it's still a team game, you still need nine people out on the field and participating in catching the ball and throwing the baseball and all that. Even though there are individual moments in a baseball game, you got the pitcher and the hitter, they're kind of individually going at each other to see who can strike the other out or who can hit the ball and get a base hit. So that's the only time the game is really individualistic. But uh, unfortunately, through social media, everything has become so glamorized and promoted with conflict and with in your face and with look at me type of stuff. And I just want to send the message to everybody as we kind of navigate the last 4 months of our season in the fact that we're going to see more of this. We're in a very heavy stretch coming up here where we've got next weekend, or maybe it might be this weekend, H, and you can clarify. We've got 150 plus teams participating, and then the following weekend we got 130, and then we go down to 120, and then we got a couple weekends where we got 100, and 100's a lot. It's a lot. 150's kind of ridiculous. but we'll get it done. I mean, I have all the confidence in the world that between the staff and the umpiring staff, we're going to get this done. My point is, the more teams you have participating, the more players you have playing. Sometimes they're playing, sometimes they're going through the motions. The more that you have mom and dad in the stand, okay, and the more that you have coaches coaching, the more opportunities that you have for emotion. And sometimes that gets the better of us. And in this day and age, I feel that everybody is so quick to respond to someone else's emotion instead of just chalking it up to, look at that a-hole. Look at that guy. I mean, it's all about him. Who cares? Let's not get offended by it. But we do. We get offended by it. And then us as officials and as umpires, we have to insert ourselves to figure out how much we insert ourselves, how little we insert ourselves, what's the right timing, how much voice inflection that we have, how much demonstrative body language are we going to display in that insertion, how are we going to handle the things that we're going to be faced with, what words are we going to come up with to help in the diffusing of the situation and get the combatants to really kind of decompress and calm down. Those are all very, very challenging things that you probably don't get paid enough money to do, but you got to do them if you're going to be part of our group and you're going to be umpiring travel baseball. So I just want everybody to realize that handling situations is probably the least amount of fun for us, right? That's not fun. We don't sign up to go out there and have somebody, on our frame talking about balls and strikes and some 16-year-old kid shrugging his shoulders and thinking the ball's outside when he's hitting and giving the big size and all that. Everybody has to find a way to get those individuals to understand that we don't appreciate the size and the shrugged shoulders and the shaking of the head and all that stuff. And then sometimes as officials, sometimes we just got to ignore it. Sometimes there's no reason to even address it. Sometimes we just need to let it go and hope that it kind of diffuses on its own. And if it doesn't, then we have to pick and choose when we're going to insert ourselves in and make a point like, hey, you know what, young man, I really don't appreciate the shaking of the head and telling the coaches where that pitch is. You know what? Why don't you just turn around and just ask me politely? Because I'll tell you. I'll tell you 100%. And you get that rapport going, you get that dialogue going, and hopefully it resonates with that young person. Hopefully it resonates with that coach that's in the dugout, and they go, wow, okay, I don't necessarily agree with where those calls are, but I really appreciate the fact that the umpire is trying to explain. They're explaining in a professional manner, and they're having a coachable moment with my player. Those are the best things that we can hear as officials when we have these challenging moments with this conflict management. So those are some of the points that I wanted to relay tonight. And then lastly, before I turn it over to Harrison, um, make sure that everybody understands that when there is a situation, and I don't care if it's Twin Creeks, I don't care if it's at Hayward, I don't care if it's at Powell, wherever the location's at, and whatever the age group and level is, just know this staff, we will hear about it. We're going to know. There's no secrets anymore about anything. So it behooves each and every one of you to give us a heads up as soon as you can give us a heads up. And I just want to make that very, very clear. When you get the opportunity and the game is over and everybody is going about their business and it's finalized, that you take the opportunity to give us a text, share a call. Northern California, that goes right to Harrison, right? That goes to him. Involve your site reps. Let them know that something transpired, and let's make sure that we get the proper information to the proper people. Obviously, for you folks that are on the call with us tonight from Southern California, you know who is representing you that weekend, whether it's Stu, whether it's Pete, whether it's Scotty, who you would have that correspondence with, that quick text message or that quick phone call if you can. And it's bullet points. So if it's a text message, it's, hey, H, had an ejection, top of the sixth, score was blah, blah, blah. The situation was head coach kept arguing balls and strikes. I gave him an official warning. He passed that official warning, and then he went, right to ejection. I'm in between games right now. I have 15 minutes if you want to chat. Please call me. Or I've only got 10 minutes. I'm changing out real quick, and we can talk after our day is over. Something along those lines. I can't tell you how far that goes with us because we hear about it. Because, contrary to belief, 9 times out of 10, the ejected person is over there bending the ear with the site rep or the tournament director, and then the tournament director is going, "Hey, we got a situation and we know about it before you guys even walk off the field." So having that heads up and that clarity is massive because us getting bombarded by people or a parent or whatever prior to having any knowledge about something is challenging. So we want to try to avoid it. So nobody's in trouble. Don't think that anybody's in trouble. Nobody's in trouble. But I just want to make it very, very clear that if we have a situation that is definitely information that the staff needs to know in order to handle things, we have that information. And then finally, we're going to work on this is one of the things that the staff has talked about. I think you guys are all great people. Okay. So don't take offense to this, but your reporting stinks. Your reporting writing is not very good. Okay. And that's okay because we really haven't gone over that a lot. All right. We're going to do that. We're going to have an exercise during our downtime, our December and January meetings, where we're going to put up a couple of examples of reports that we've gotten. And we're going to say, this isn't really beneficial to us. This doesn't paint the picture for us. And what we're looking for is a picture that's being painted for us. If we were there, this is what we would have saw with our own eyes. That's what we want narrated in the report. Okay, so we're working on with our IT people right now in creating a report that is going to lead you guys right to the trough to drink, man. It's going to tell you to answer this question, and it's going to say in all the details, and it's going to be specific in how to put these reports down and articulate them the right way. So then that way there's no confusion, there's no guessing, there's no any of that stuff. This is, man, you want to lay this all out. This isn't like talking to the girlfriend or the wife where you're trying to get out of trouble because you had a couple more beers with the boys and you were supposed to be home at 11, you got home at 12 and you skirted around the truth. No, 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 no. We want the truth. We want all aspects of it, whether it's good, bad, whether we screwed up, whether we, used a few explanatives. Okay. For you folks that are not, old explanatives, cuss words, we want all that down on paper. We need all that intel as much as we possibly can. So we'll have an exercise in the December, January meetings where we show examples of what we're not looking for and then some examples of what we're really looking for. So anyways, that's what I have to say about that. Any questions before I turn it over to Harrison? Anybody from the group have any questions about Unrivaled? Have any questions about BLD? Have any questions about handling situations or that great communication? I'll pause for 10 seconds. Okay. It's still 27-24 Minnesota, and the Bears are driving. And I could care less who wins tonight. H, take it away.
Thanks, Billy. Just want to welcome everybody onto this staff call here for the month of September. Billy talked about we have a lot of things moving fast here as we have officially entered the busy season of NorCal. It's great to see so many of you guys on from NorCal as well as SoCal. So first of all, that's paramount as we're able to have this time together so we can get on the same page with different things and share ideas. And so for me, I don't usually lead off with a wrap up of a weekend, but I go ahead, Scotty. I felt it was important to kind of wrap up what happened to us this weekend, what happened as an organization in NorCal. We had 5-tool running this weekend, like we're gonna have for the next 2 months up here. We had 2 umpires late on Saturday for 5-tool. We had another umpire late on Sunday for five tool that we were able to pivot around. But guys, we need to be responsible to our schedules. Okay, like we all get schedules early in the week. We know what time we're supposed to be somewhere. It's really on you guys to take ownership of that, and just take some responsibility of being on time and being manageable. And if you don't know, if you've never been to a certain location, I know we're starting to use some of the high schools that we don't normally use, some of the colleges maybe you're not familiar with. If you guys aren't familiar with a site, definitely I put the address of the school in. I trying to be as helpful as I can. I put the address of the school in, along with um, on your guys' schedule that comes out. If you've never been, I've been to all these schools. Okay, if you're not sure, and you're not great at using Google Maps to figure it out, then definitely let me know, and I can help guide you a little more. But we need to make sure that we know where the field is. We know what's going to be the best parking lot to park in, so that we can get ahead of it. It's not like working at Twin Creeks or a site like Great Parks where everything's laid out for you guys. So really just can't stress that enough. Be punctual, take ownership of that. Um, and so I just really want to commend the guys at Twin Creeks for this past weekend. They did a great job picking each other up. We had a lot of moving parts. We had to move some guys from Twin Creeks off site, and we had to bring other guys to site. So that was awesome on their side. Really, really, really great to see that level of flexibility and just making sure we're all pulling the rope in the same direction. So really commend the guys for that down there. Billy touched on the on the incident that we're gonna spend a little bit of time on tonight. We did have it wasn't a major altercation. Benches didn't clear or anything. Just a couple of loose cannons. And so we're gonna get a chance to watch the video of the play. But no text to me after the game. When we had a pushing altercation on the field. Because if we have an incident on the field, there's absolutely no reason not to at least give me a text. If it's late, 11 o'clock, you don't want to call me, 12 o'clock, you don't want to call me. I get that. But you have to at least text me. That's bare minimum. And it really it's in all of our emails weekly. So there's really no excuse to not know that we should be communicating about incidents, about ejections. Now I got a call from Vince, I got a text from Vince. I woke up to that at 6:30. So it just makes us look unorganized, and just disheveled as a staff if we're not in communication about incidents. So the other thing is definitely read the entire body of the schedule. We had an umpire leave a complex because he didn't know he had games later in the day because he never read the full schedule. Again, that's just taking ownership of reading the schedule. I can't stress that enough how important that is to really have some ownership, have some responsibility in this. So it's not trust me, that's not too much to ask. I hope that's not too much to ask. If that's overpowering for you, definitely let me know, and we can find something else for you to do. Go ahead, Scotty. Okay. Oh, it did not move over. All right, never mind. Okay, so we have the new website, bbwaumpires.com. You guys can feel free to log in there and use that site now. The NCTB umpires website, our NCTB umpires website does feed into the BBWA umpires website for now. So any changes you make on the original website, they will automatically move into the new website, which is a nice feature that our webmaster created, but that's not going to last forever. So I want you guys to get comfortable using the bbwaumpires.com website. I know right now in Southern California, you guys aren't listing any assignments on there, but I know that's something that may be discussed in the future. So again, just something for NorCal guys. Go ahead, Scotty. Um, all right. So with the new umpire website, if you're an umpire who is listing availability for five tool particular games, if you get confirmed for a five tool schedule, then I don't need you to list yourself in the other two programs that we have running that weekend. It makes it complicated on my end when I'm organizing guys, and then I'm having to go back and rearrange because you listed yourself available in multiple areas. Again, with a 150 game weekend like this, I'm not going to perfectly remember where everybody's slotted. So please do me a favor. Once you get confirmed somewhere, remove yourself as available from the other portions. Like if you get confirmed at 5 tool, remove yourself from Twin Creeks, or if you get confirmed at Alpha, remove yourself from 5 tool or Twin Creeks, something like that. So just work with me on that, as the functionality isn't quite there yet to not allow you to register on different sites. So just be cognizant of that. It'll help me a lot. Just know that if you do get confirmed for a 5 tool, it'll depend on the weekend, how heavy the 5 tool schedule comes in, and also what we need to fill all the brackets out. You may start with a 5 tool schedule. You may work 1 day 5 tool. You may work 1 day at Twin Creeks, or you may end up at Twin Creeks. Again, just because of what we need on a particular weekend. So just something to be aware of, especially as we move into our super busy month, September and October. And then profile, just be a good citizen, be a good make sure you have your email and your phone number completely up to date as well. Thanks, Scotty. Go ahead. Cool. All right. So Billy kind of said we were going to wait on this. I am not going to wait on this because I've been waiting on this since January 1st. This is an ejection report for the play that we're going to watch. And we can kind of have some free flow ideas about how we think the report is written and what do you think what was left out. And then I'll give you a hint. I'm going to show you how I turn it into a working report. So again, I'm going to share my screen really fast. Okay, thumbs up if you guys can see my screen. Cool. All right. So this is play in question from Saturday night. Oh, okay. Doesn't want to let me play it.
We couldn't open as we get the local Wait a bit then.
Let me see if I can open it under. Scotty, take it back over for a second. I'm going to see if I can open. Actually, leave it. Okay, there we go. Working on it together. Here we go. Okay, bases loaded. Base hit to right field. We have R2 coming around trying to score here. All right, so it happened fast, right? There wasn't rundown, wasn't very long at all. I'll just play it back for you guys. The runner pretty much gave himself up, decided he's not going to engage in a long rundown, and he just retreats immediately to third base. I'll give you guys some context as well. The third baseman had been talking trash to the third base dugout. The third baseman was in the first base dugout, and he had been warned in the game prior to this inning that he needed to keep his comments to his own team. And so this runner decides, as he's retreating back, that he is going to go immediately right after the third baseman, drop his shoulder, and engage him. And so you guys could hear in the video, and you could see the umpire in the middle of the field. I thought he did a pretty good job recognizing this and getting control of the situation and removing the runner from the game. And then he removed also the third baseman from the game. Does anyone else see anything they want to comment on about how this play was handled? You can raise your hand or unmute. Okay, I'll keep talking then. Yeah, again, the contact was malicious. These are high school kids. These is the 18U bracket. So these kids are all probably 17, 16, 17. And we just don't need this kind of behavior at this level. The team on defense is losing 7-0, and so they're already in a bad mood. And so the third baseman, after he gets his shoulder dropped into, he pushes back, and so he is ejected for his actions as well. Again, on the field, I thought the umpires didn't make a huge deal about it. They didn't get overly aggressive with trying to run in there when everything kind of fizzled out very quickly here. So again, I thought pretty nice job by the umpires on the field. We're gonna kind of see how that backed up, unfortunately, into the report.
Hey, so
So
H, if I might interrupt you, there was a comment in the chatter about, a coach being on the field and you can see him right there. Um,
sure.
I don't have an issue with that. I actually want coaches to come on the field as long as the coaches are part of de-escalating the situation and not escalating the situation. By all means, we only have two of us out there. So the more actors that can come out and be part of diffusing the situation, the better. And we would encourage that if things got a little bit chippy. Let's just say, for instance, we had to put warnings out for both teams for doing some bench jockeying and whatnot. I would encourage both coaches to get actively involved in simmering that down. So when we get something that gets close to this, we hopefully avoid that. But having the coach on the field, I don't want anybody to think that that's an ejectable offense. The only time that that would be an ejectable offense is if that person came out there and caused more harm than help. Then we would probably run that person. But that person coming out and acting as a good participant to get his team off the field and getting those bad actors away from that situation, we want to encourage that, please.
Yeah, 100%, Billy. 100% echo that sentiment. This guy he's going to come over there to try to help. He is not looking to throw gas on the fire. So we wouldn't remove him for his actions at all. And again, we were kind of lucky in this situation because things fizzled out, after a few quick shoves. But it easily could have turned a little bit more into something further if we hadn't acted as quickly as we did.
I also
So.
would like to take the opportunity to point out a little mechanical thing. If you go back, I'd like to point out something mechanical that I think the guys could have done a little bit better.
Yeah, of course.
So as that play comes into home here, we watch our plate umpire kind of swing around, which is great. Stop it right there if you would. Stop. Okay. This is great because we're going to have a swipe tag, right? So that play is going to be to the third base dugout side of home plate. So I thought the plate umpire did a nice job of swinging around and getting in that optimal keyhole look. But here's where I would tell you to benefit. Run it a little bit farther. As soon as you start to now stop it. As soon as you start to see that we're going to have this rundown in between here, we want to kind of get a wedge effect, if you would, but with our base umpire and our plate umpire. So what I'd like to see the plate umpire do is aggressively make his way into foul territory. So we've got the look in foul side of this play, and then our base umpire will migrate his way. He's still got multiple runners, says he's still got the guy that hit the base hit, so he can't completely collapse and get over there and get really, really tight because he could have a play at another base, but he wants to get a little bit closer to shade. But what we're doing is we're wedging this look. So that way, if we've got a tag that's on a rear end, if we've got a tag that's on a foot, if we've got a tag on a backside, okay, with the diving catcher, we have a better look at it than being. See how we're straight line, and if you run this video, keep going. H, we just run up the line, so we're straight line. So right now, if we get a tag that is where the catcher is leaning and he drops down to his chest, we're definitely blocked out at home. I understand that the base umpire, this will be his call because it's going away, but I want the plate umpire to have the optic of seeing that as well. And what's the other thing that could possibly happen? If we got a tag where the guy's going down on the ground, he's got the baseball cradled, we got to have a ball that comes dislodged or something like that. Plus, two, we're a little bit tighter on this play, and we should be athletic enough. If this play ends up coming back our way, we stay outside, and we've got a better pendulum swing that we can kind of maneuver ourselves if a play comes back into home plate.
Absolutely.
My
Yeah.
observations on seeing that.
No, absolutely. Yeah, we start to see the video. You can see the base umpire is trying to split his difference. He's not totally committing, like Billy said. So, you can see in the video that the batter runner stayed at first, which no idea why he's doing that. He needs to be aggressive. But anyways, so it allows us even to creep a little farther in this play, and we are gonna have, like Billy said, like with the way this umpire, the plate umpire is standing, like he is not gonna have any look. This is going to be a base umpire decision. And it's good on the really good recognition by the base umpire that he needs to get as close as he can to this tag because of the position of the plate umpire. Normally in the traditional two umpire system, the plate umpire would be kind of responsible for the entire rundown because we like to think of one runner, one umpire. But in order for that to happen, the plate umpire would need to come out very aggressive on the initial part, on the initial slide of the rundown, especially since we had bases loaded and a ball hit to right field. I'm normally going to be shading the side of the field that the ball is hit on. So I'm naturally going to move from the third base side of the infield to the first base side of the infield. So my first instinct would be to kind of stay with my only runner, and then recognizing what the plate umpire was doing and how can I help the crew in that situation. Absolutely, close down on this play, and we're pretty much going to have the entire play based on with the location of the plate umpire. So, really good job again, recognition by the base umpire here. Gets his call, gets his ejection, gets his multiple ejections, and they get the situation quieted down really
Hey,
fast.
why don't you go into a little bit, and I don't want to belabor this too much, but I think there's some great learning points here. We haven't even talked about obstruction interference and how the plate guy can aid in that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I mean it's paramount that we're in a position to see obstruction or interference again if this rundown would have actually developed. If the runner decided he was going to give himself up immediately and decided not to engage in a full rundown. Again, 7-0, the eighth run just scored. Probably didn't, he's not thinking that, but if it's a one-run ball game late in the game, we could definitely have a different actions by the runner. And we just want to put ourselves, it goes back to working the game. Be responsible of your actions on the field. When you have, a developing play, that's what we look for. That's what I want my crews to do when we talk about situations and about responsibilities. It's just, it's okay to be composed. I'll use composure. I use the word composure because I don't like the word lazy, but it's okay to have composure on the field. But this type of situation is the one we need to react to immediately. And that's kind of what separates guys as they start to move up is can you recognize when a developing play is happening and what level of effort do you need to give to that corresponding play? And I mean, that we can talk about that all night because this is just a situation where that didn't happen. And again, based on fire picked this up. And so kudos to him for that. Scott, you can take over or I can just jump it in here. Okay, so we watched the play, and now here comes the report, right? So there's two parts of everything: what happens on the field, and then what happens after it. So this is the report that was sent to me. Cosmore was warned for verbal unsportsmanlike conduct directed at Bulldogs dugout. The next play, Palka Bulldogs base runner dropped his shoulder into Cosmore during a rundown, pushing and shoving, but no punches were thrown. Both players were ejected. I mean, that is the definition of a 50,000-foot view. I mean, there's a little bit of detail there and you kind of get an idea of what happened on the field, but again, this is not something that you could turn in and feel comfortable about. So let's maybe put some ideas in the chat. What kind of context do you think is missing from the report? What are some things that you guys would try to add to the report? or we can raise hands either way.
Or we can call.
Or we can call. If we're not getting any responses, we can call.
I like the call part.
Okay, okay. So we got inning and score, runners, outs, any previous warnings that was mentioned in the report. Previous innings actions. Yeah, sure. What led to it? It was kind of referenced, but there wasn't a great deal to it. And I don't mind it being simple if it didn't lead to an ejection. Score at the time of the ejection, final score, innings, scores, times, game situation, inning score, etc. Okay, cool. You guys are all thinking along the same lines. We don't have any context of what inning it was where were the runners, where was the ball hit. The umpire that's typing the report has not put himself in the report yet. So there's all kinds of things we can add to the report. So these reports come in. I talked to the umpire on that submitted the report, had the play, and then I turn it into a report that I can feel comfortable submitting. So this is the report that we'd like to see come in. This is a real report. So it says backs third baseman number 323 Cosmore was making comments directed at the California Bulldogs dugout early in the game. I told Cosmore to stay with his own team. Cosmore continued making comments to the Bulldogs dugout, so he was warned for unsportsmanlike conduct. Later in the game, Bulldogs had the bases loaded and the batter hit a base hit to right field. The runner from second base, number 2, Palka, tried to score but ended up getting in a rundown between home plate and third base. On his way back to third base, Palka dropped his shoulder into Cosmore. Cosmore responded by shoving Palka. Two players briefly engaged in pushing before separating. Both players were ejected. Now do we feel like we have a better, like Billy said, painting a picture? Like now you feel like you could be there without, if we didn't have the video of this play. If you know, that's the other thing is that video is everywhere, right? So you want to be as accurate as you can in your reports because everyone has Game Changer that's taped to the fence. So, and whenever you submit a report, there's always going to be a video, whether we get it or not. This is a situation where the video was sent to us, so we were lucky enough to get it. And so, just make sure that we're not embellishing. Thanks, Ron. We're just putting the facts of the play. And I feel like we did that the second time. We didn't embellish, but we gave the entirety of the facts. So, the post-ejection events, this is kind of your commentary a little bit. We were able to control the situation quickly before anything escalated. A few players from both dugouts came onto the field, but quickly went back into the dugouts. Warnings were issued to both dugouts and the starting pitcher. The game resumed. Another good point there. The report doesn't mention, excuse me. The report doesn't mention that they even gave warnings. So make sure again if you issue warnings, just make sure you put that in the report. Just painting that full picture. So anyone got any comments that they want to share, bring to the group, or drop it in the chat, unmute or drop them in the chat before we move on. Nothing, huh? Okay.
I got some.
Okay, let's go.
I think we just need to make it to where it looks like it's a late game, and obviously these guys probably want to write that report and go home. So what you guys are saying, just do the report, even if you're going to leave another 10 minutes early. I mean, later. You know what I'm saying? Just to make it how you guys want it. I mean, that's a detailed report. And for me, I can't write that good. So I've done my best, but I think as a whole, just like you're saying, paint the picture. If you have to stay there later, do it. Just so there's not a mess in the morning.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Jason. I mean, this report didn't come in at all. Like, not only did the umpire drive home and not submit the report, again, no text message was even notified. So, everything that was done well on the field was done equally as poorly off the field. So, just it takes all parts of it. And again, I'm not saying you guys have to be as good as me at writing reports. The only reason why I'm so good at writing reports is because I've written a lot of them. Okay, early in my career, I've written a lot. Like I used to write a lot of reports. Absolutely. And And so I never was afraid of writing reports. Ejections are not a bad thing. You'll never hear me say ejections are a bad thing. Ejections are not a bad thing. Ejections are good. That means we're handling business. We're drawing lines in the sand. We're making it known where what type of behavior we're going to allow. And then if that line is crossed, if the behavior becomes unsatisfactory to the umpires on the field, and then it's time to handle business and get rid of somebody. And it's not ejections are not a bad thing. You'll never hear the staff say ejections are a bad thing, but we have to back it up with a quality report, like we did here. And again, it makes it easy when they're pushing and shoving each other on the field, but there are other complicated reports that, like Billy said, we'll get into as time permits. So, yeah, that's all I got for tonight. And so we're gonna move on to Scotty Jones.
Hey Harrison, real quick, can I
Sure.
ask a
Go ahead,
question?
Fredo.
That last comment, I think it was Jose or Joe. Is he meaning to, or I'll ask him, are you meaning to write that summary right then and there? Is that what he's talking about when he says
It
wait
used to
10
be
minutes?
standard practice up north that that umpires were to write the ejection reports like before their next game. We've taken that standard down a little bit. We give the flexibility to have the umpire write the report, before they go to bed that night, and so that hopefully leads to more quality reports. Like Jason mentioned, this is the last game of the night on and so everyone's been there. All these umpires worked the last 4 games together, and so these umpires were, at the end of their exhaustion. But it doesn't. We still have to take care of business as far as giving the communication and writing the report, so we know how to handle the ejections in the morning. So I think
Okay.
that's what that led to, Fredo.
That's
Um,
okay. That's
Cool.
cool.
And yeah, sorry, just one last thing, like Billy mentioned, availability this weekend for me. If you haven't already got a text from me, you can probably count on you will. Like I really trying to set this weekend up. Again, 150 teams this weekend. They are not making it easy on us, but I know for me, I'll be down there. I've been for those of you that don't know, I've been taking care of my dad. He's been in and out of the hospital for the last month. And so I've been living with him, taking care of him. And so I'm finally in a spot where I'm going to be able to get on the field with you guys this weekend. So if you are going to work for us down in the South Bay, good news is you'll see me. I'll be there, and I'm going to be getting on the field with you guys. So look forward to that. Go ahead, Scotty.
Cool, guys. So mine's gonna be pretty short and sweet. First one for SoCal guys, since we're picking back up with fall ball. I need, whether Stu or Pete assigns you, I need a text message if there's been an ejection. You need to get a hold of Stu or Pete if you are running late, that kind of stuff. But if there's been an ejection, I need a text message. Because that's got to come through me as well. But the biggest thing I've seen is the over responses to emails, and this goes for NorCal, SoCal, San Diego, whatever. If you're not able to work with the email that we send out, I don't need an email coming through the email box that you're not available, or you've got your dog's first anniversary of their sterilization. I don't know, whatever the excuse is, I don't care. I have a chain for the tournament that's going on at Westmont this weekend, that between the 3 different groups I sent out, one of them's at like 60 some odd because 15 to 20 people wanted to give me their life story. You're just cluttering up our email, and now I have to sift through all these additional emails. So if you're wanting to work, respond to the email. Don't call us, don't text us. We all have jobs. Harrison works, Billy works, I work, Stu works, Pete works. Down in San Diego, both the guys that help us sign down there, they have real jobs. Don't be the better, you're wanting to work. So send the email, and then if they get to you and they give you games, hey, this is what I've got for you. Say your availability changed, then be like, hey, my availability changed. No harm, no foul there. But just we don't need a life story because I've got 215 people on each email thread for SoCal. I've got 200 in San Diego on one, and I think 110 on the other. They're all in one email thread. So out of all those people, if they all respond, it all goes to the same email. And now I got to sift through 150 some odd emails. Please don't do that. The texting and calling, that's very difficult on all of us with our real jobs. Focus on the email for us down in Southern California, San Diego. That way we have timestamps. Just because you called and text 15 times, but you never respond to the email. I don't know what time those calls and texts came through, so I'm not syncing them up. Just some of the stuff we do is first come, first serve. So that's basically all I've got. So Pete's on a plane. And then Stu, did you have anything?
Stu, anybody? Stu, you disappear?
Got it.
Go.
Guys, thank you very much. Everybody down here is pretty on it. I don't have many no-shows. Everybody's pretty good at everything, so I appreciate it. I would thank every one of you. I still need you to contact your partners so at least they know who they're working with, vice versa, so you guys connect at least 30 minutes before game time. We got tournaments probably every weekend for the next month, but they're all small. Meaning I try to get everybody involved, and I don't want to schedule 4 umpires, 1 umpire for 4 games. So I'll split them up unless it's one where I'm not seeing a lot of people wanting to work. Yeah, something pretty much every weekend. So like this weekend, there's 4 fields on Sunday, 6 fields on Saturday, and I got a lot of response. So probably gonna get 2 games max on these things. And that's about all I got. So thank you again.
Okay, very good. Staff, thank you very much. Great stuff tonight. Appreciate that. I will open it up for any questions that the group may have overall. Don't be shy. Here's your chance.
I have something.
Yeah.
This is for up here in North. I've
Yeah.
been with NCTB off and on. I was there for about 8 years straight, and then went back to fast pitch, and then came back off and on. But back in the day, to me, I think we were the best crew of umpires in I think in ever. But we used to have training to where, we had the minor league guys and the big vets would come out and they would evaluate us the whole game, and it wasn't like bad evaluate. It's like, hey, you're doing this, you're doing that, doing that. Will we ever get back to that? I mean, I think that's when I became a really good umpire by getting evaluated by, Mahoney. I mean, the old guys, but it's different now. And I know things change, but will NCTB ever get back to that kind of training? Well, guys, dress by 9, we were the best dressed crew ever, it's just different now. I'm just kind of curious, will that ever come back to where we're held to a standard, and this is the way it is, and if you don't like it, go work for TPR, whatever. I mean, that's how we were by far the best crew out there, I think.
Yep. Jason, those are all great comments, and we're definitely we'd love to serve you guys in a better capacity. Our challenge is that back in the day when Mahoney and H and Justin Havey and Greg Charles and all those guys were doing all that really, really great work, they were a lot younger back then. A lot of them lived in the area. A lot of them have moved out, now. So Justin's moved away and lives in the Sacramento area. H is over here in the Sacramento area like I am. So we just don't have the resources like we used to. And then obviously with having families and we gotten all older, so we got more responsibilities on the weekends. Our resources are stretched a little bit thin. But as I would share with you, that's some of the reasons why we're having these calls in lieu of, the week to week or week to weekend evaluations. We will get to back to that as we grow and as our resources increase, and as we find those people that have the ability to come over and spend, a weekend or a Saturday or a Sunday to give us some really strong evaluation. It's just right now it's finding the right person and the right people to do that, and I don't think we're quite there yet. And it's just being able to have the ability to do it too. It
Mhm.
seems like everybody is just stretched so thin right now with so many activities and things that they're doing. It just makes it hard. We all have families like we spoke about. Um, I'm enthralled in a 9 week stretch of my son playing high school baseball and travel baseball for the next 9 weeks. It's murder. It's hard. But it's
No,
not
no,
it's
no,
not an
no, I get it.
excuse. But I do hear you, and that's probably some of the reasons why these calls are very important. And that's why we're going to try to incorporate more plays and more scenarios. But I think some of that one-on-one for each one of you guys is vital. I do not disagree. For those that you will be out this weekend with Harrison being out there, take advantage of that. That'll be awesome. And I highly support doing that and listening to him and taking that constructive criticism. We also have, a free clinic that comes up in December that's put on by Willie Trainer that I think is really, really great. We're going to try to have something else in January that hopefully we can get out on the field and do some things as well. I agree with you 100%. And Harrison's going to, for all that you can see, Harrison down here on the right side, he's going to agree and he's going to nod. The dress code absolutely can be better, 100%, with the logoed hats, the shirts tailored very, nicely, the pants that are laundered and clean, the shoes that don't look like they've been through, 10,000 called pitches, all those type of things could be better. So yes, we do want to raise those standards, and I think as we have just clicked the 2 year mark in our tenure of kind of being in charge now, for me, especially as the leader, I've kind of earmarked different strategical times to get to certain things for us. And I what I really wanted to do was make sure that we got our numbers back and that we treated you guys fairly, we paid you guys fairly. We're still not done trying to, create better compensation for you guys, but just the overall way that in which we conduct and we lead was much better, and that we really focused on getting the numbers up, and we've accomplished that. We're in really good shape with our numbers. We'd like to get some more, especially during these heavy times, but our numbers are better. So now that we've got the numbers, now we can focus on the next bullet point, and that next bullet point is better training, more observation, more one-on-one with all of you guys. So I appreciate those comments very much, Jason. I think you're spot on, and it's definitely in our eyesight, and it's definitely something that we want to get accomplished, and it'll definitely get you'll have a better presence here in year 3, and as we move forward and we have more time to dedicate and all that. Obviously, taking on another complex next year, and more weekends, 30 more weekends. Obviously, we're going to want to have more presence. So we're thinking about creative ways that we can get some of those folks out, and similar to back in the day with the Mahonies and Harrison and I bet you Chris Gonzalez was out there, and Chucky.
Oh, we used to have like when we used to have Derek Eaton out there with Lou
Yeah.
Williams and those guys. I mean, that's what made me, a better umpire, like you say. Just that's what made me want to continue umpiring and try to pursue it as a career before I got in professional baseball. Was those after those wrap ups at the on those picnic benches after games, doing those those live evals of three things I need to work on, three things I need to get better, and just that chalkboard and talking through plays and situations. And now we're so lucky with the benefit of video. I can fully plan on bringing my phone, obviously, this weekend, and I'll record some plays and some pitches and we can talk stance, and there's a lot of things that We can do with video now as well that we're excited about. But yeah, I totally agree with you, Jason. It's definitely it's what really grew the brand back in the day was having those minor league guys come in. So we don't have as many minor league guys in the area anymore, but we do
I
have
know we
do
were
have some
stacked back
guys.
then. I understand that we were stacked, you know.
Oh
I
yeah,
think that's what really made me become a better umpire because I was always softball, and then I come here and as I'm working with all these minor league guys and everything, I'm like, what the heck, you know? And I just learned so much, and you guys were so good. You know, you guys didn't beat us down. That you guys were just bringing us up. Hey, do this, do that, do that. Hey, you can't wear that. You need to wear this. You can't. Hey, you know, that's why I'm saying we were. I was in awe of the way the group was. You know what I'm saying?
definitely. That
That's
makes a
all
lot
I'm
of
saying.
sense,
I
brother.
just the way we were as a whole. You know, and I told even my softball guys, heck, dude, NCTV, we got the best umpires in America over here, dude. I go, this is the best group of guys I've ever worked with in my life. So that's what I'm just saying because we did things different, and I love being evaluated, even though I would screw up because I hate being evaluated. But you learn a lot from having two professionals behind you, you know, watching the whole 2 hours of the whole game. You know what I'm saying? That's all. That was just kind of curious if that will ever get to there. I know we're not like how we were, but it was nice to get evaluated like that instead of just going to. I know the camp is good, but it's really basic, you know, and there's
Yeah,
sometimes like
definitely.
the
No,
old.
you're right. You're right. I mean, that's the benefit of the slowdown times. Like no October, end of October, November, December, like that's when those evals start to take place, and
Mhm.
we fully have that in our eyesight to dedicate some resources to having some guys down there and having some presence on site and making sure we're doing some live evals and some one-on-one feedback to help give you guys that fuel and also bring along some of the guys that we brought in that we maybe don't have a lot of knowledge with. So it takes a lot it takes everyone and I appreciate you bringing that to the table and we look forward to doing more of it here in the fall. So thanks Jason. Really
No
good
problem.
stuff.
Okay. Anybody else before we adjourn it? Because we got one more call to expedite. I appreciate everybody being on. We will be meeting. Our next one is going to be Monday, October the 6th. So mark your calendars for Monday, October the 6th, 8 o'clock will be our next BBUA all staff meeting. Thank you
Come
all.
out.
Hold on, Billy.
Yeah.
Question. I'm showing it for the 13th.
Oh,
Can you
then
get
I got it wrong. That's fine. Then it's the 13th. It's all good.
Second Monday of every month. We got it. We'll see you guys
Second
on the
Monday.
13th.
All right. Take care. Thank you.
Thanks, boys.